Welcome to the definitive compendium of Rajasthan's fortresses. Across this land, 38 monumental strongholds stand as silent witnesses to history. Today, we break down their architectural DNA, geographic purpose, and strategic genius. To understand the legendary military defiance of this region, we must look at the terrain as the first line of Rajput defense. The ancient strategists categorized their strongholds into four distinct environmental matrices. First, Giri Durg, or hill forts, built on high-elevation mesa plateaus. Think of Chittorgarh. Second, Jal Durg, or water forts, strategically positioned at river confluences or protected by massive engineered moats, like Gagron. Third is Dhanvana Durg, the desert forts, built right upon shifting sand dunes, requiring deep foundations and triangular bastions to withstand the elements, like Jaisalmer. And finally, Vana Durg, or forest and plain forts, utilizing dense vegetation and elliptical layouts for perfect camouflage, like Ranthambore. This is Chittorgarh, the undisputed crown jewel of Mewar. First engineered by its principal builder, Chittorgarh Maurya, it stands proudly on a sprawling mesa plateau at the strategic confluence of the Gambhiri and Bhedich rivers. Look closely at its design. The fort is shaped remarkably like a colossal fish silhouette cutting through the landscape. It holds the distinction of being the largest residential fort in all of Rajasthan. Chittorgarh is an architectural marvel because it contains features of every single fort type except desert. Key access points like the Lakhota Bari protected its flanks, while inside, legendary builders left their mark, from the Navalkha Bhandar built by Banveer, to sacred structures like the ancient Kalika temple and the iconic Kumbhaswamy temple. Next, we travel to the rugged defenses of Kumbhalgarh, envisioned and built by the legendary Maharana Kumbha. This stronghold served a critical strategic role as the ultimate troubleshooter fort of Mewar and a permanent sentinel guarding the border between Mewar and Marwar. Its defining signature is its unfathomable perimeter, a 36-kilometer-long continuous wall. Its width is so immense that 4 horses can run parallel along its ramparts. No wonder the historical chronicler James Todd described it as an invincible, Etruscan fort. At the absolute apex sits Chittorgarh, Maharana Kumbha's private residence, known poetically as the Eye of Mewar. Chronicler Abul Fazl noted that its extreme, dizzying height causes a person's turban to fall off their head when looking straight up. Below it lie masterfully planned internal architectural marvels like the Mama Dev Kund and the Jhari Rani Mailia Palace. Deep in the Thar Desert, the architecture adapts to the sand. This is Jaisalmer Fort, also known as Sonargarh, founded by Rao Jisal in 1155 AD. Built on a distinct triangular layout on Trikuta Hill, its material core relies entirely on local yellow stone that shines brilliantly like pure gold under the sun. But its true genius lies in its engineering anomalies. This entire structure was built completely without lime mortar, relying on gravity and precise interlocking stone craftsmanship, topped with a specialized wooden roof. To guard against invaders, it features a staggering 99 defensive bastions and a protective, double-layered long-skirt rampart known as the Kamarko. From a distance, this visual illusion earns it a famous alias, the Yawning Lion. Not far away in Bikaner stands another desert titan, but with a completely contrasting philosophy. This is Junagadh Fort, constructed by Rai Singh between 1589 and 1594 AD. Unlike most strongholds, it wasn't built on a hill, but on the flat desert lands of Ratighati. Constructed from a solid material core of rich red stone, its defenses rely on a strict quadrilateral shape defended by 37 massive bastions and surrounded entirely by a deep, engineered trench. Known affectionately as the jewel of the land, Junagadh seamlessly blended ancient defenses with modern luxury, even featuring fully functional mechanical lifts installed well before India's independence. Rising over the plains of Marwar is the terrifyingly magnificent Mehrangarh Fort. Founded by Rao Jodha on May 13, 1459, it sits perched atop the precipitous Chiriya Tuink Hill. The fort's footprint was meticulously designed in a majestic, peacock shape, earning it the historical names Mayuradhwaj Garh and Garh Chintamani. Its jaw-dropping scale prompted Rudyard Kipling to remark that the fort looked like it was built not by men, but by fairies and gods. Its artillery ramparts are legendary, housing feared historic cannons like the Kilkila, Bhavani, and Shambhuban. Within its formidable walls lie the breathtaking Moti Mahal and Phool Mahal palaces, sustained by an ingenious water source, the deep Renaissance pond, engineered by Queen Jismate to supply the fort from far below. In the kingdom of Dhundhar, defense was treated as a unified, three-tiered tactical triangle. Node 1 is the opulent Amber Fort, built by Raja Man Singh. Designed as a hillside labyrinth overlooking the Mathur Reservoir, it showcases heavy Mughal architectural influence, holding the glittering Sheesh Mahal and the sacred Shilamata temple. Directly above it sits Node 2, Jaigarh, the rugged military armory constructed by Mirza Raja Jai Singh. Connected to Amber by a network of secret underground tunnels, it featured massive water reservoirs, a sophisticated arms factory, and still houses the monstrous Jaiban cannon, the largest wheeled cannon of its era. Guarding the final flank is Node 3, Nahargarh, the watchguard, built by Savai Jai Singh specifically to repel Maratha invasions. Its most unique internal feature is a block of 9 identical, interconnected luxury palaces built by Madho Singh II for his concubines. True architectural mastery means turning nature into an optical illusion. Look at Gagrong Fort, a pristine Jal Durg constructed by the Parmar rulers of the Dodgad clan. It is a profound engineering anomaly, built entirely on a solid rock outcrop without any traditional dug foundations, right at the swirling confluence of the Kalis Sindh and Ahu rivers. Its most chilling feature? The Giddha Karai, a sheer execution rock used to drop condemned prisoners into the abyss. Meanwhile, hidden deep within the wild valley of the Chauhan rulers stands Ranthambore, an 8th century Vana Durg. Its specialized elliptical shape mimics the natural curves of the surrounding hills, making it virtually invisible from a distance until you are right upon it. Abul Fazl appropriately labeled it an armored fort. Today, it safely cradles the highly revered, ancient Trinetra Ganesh temple. Rajasthan's borders were secured by specialized shields. On the absolute northern frontier lies Bhatner Fort in Hanumangarh, built by Bhupadbhati. Its massive defense includes 52 colossal bastions constructed entirely out of rock clay. Yet, it was so resilient that Emperor Tamur recorded it as the safest fort in all of India, in his personal autobiography, earning it the title, Sentinel of the Northern Frontier. To the east stands Bharatpur Fort, also known as Lohagarh, built by Maharaja Surajmal. Its defense is a masterclass in hydraulic engineering, completely surrounded by the deep, wide Sujanganga trench which was fed continuously by Moti Lake. Guarded by historic Ashtadhatu doors on its northern gate, this mud-walled fortress proved entirely invincible to British commander Lord Lake. Nearby on Damdama Hill sits Bayana Fort, built by Vijaypala, housing the ancient Usha temple constructed by Chitralekha, alongside the towering Lodi Minar. Securing the central spine of the region required absolute control over the trade routes. First is Taragat Fort in Ajmer, built by the Chauhan king Ajay-Raj. Featuring 14 heavy bastions on a steep hill, it was dubbed the Gibraltar of Rajasthan. Centuries later, Lord William Bentinck converted its breezy heights into a military sanatorium. Right below it sits Akbar's fort, built in 1570. It functioned as the Mughal Empire's secure royal magazine, a massive weapons depot. It was within these very walls that the tactical invasion plans for the historic Battle of Haldighati were drawn. Further north in Alwar, we find Bala Fort, built by the Nikum Kshatriyas, featuring architectural highlights like the Jal Mahal, Salim Sagar, and the imposing Andheri Darwaza. Hidden deeper in the same region is Kankanwadi Fort, built by Mirza Raja Jai Singh. This isolated hilltop fortress is historically notorious as the secure prison where the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb ruthlessly confined his own brother, Dara Shikoh. Moving into the southern reaches in the rugged Hadoti region, we find fascinating design adaptations. Taragat Fort in Bundi, built by Basing in 1354, is uniquely engineered so that its layout visually resembles a glowing star when viewed from the lake below. Home to the terrifying Garbha Gunjan cannon, Rudyard Kipling famously remarked that this ethereal fort looked like it was built by ghosts. Nearby is the Kota Fort, built by Jetra Singh and later expanded by Madho Singh. It features massive, thick defensive ramparts that Colonel James Todd declared were the largest and most impressive in all of India, second only to the Agra Fort. Guarding the southwestern plains is Jalore Fort, or Swarnagiri, built by the Pratihara ruler Nagabhatta I next to the Sukhdi river. Its most famous structure is the Topkhana Masjid, which was beautifully repurposed from an old Parmar Sanskrit school. And high in the mountains of Siroi sits Chittorgarh, originally built by the Parmar rulers and later completely rebuilt by Maharana Kumbha, featuring the sacred Mandakini Kund, the rocky cleft of Bhavarathal, and the exquisite dual statues of Savan Bhado. Now, let us examine the true architectural anomalies and final frontiers of stone. First, the legendary Churu fort, built by Thakur Kushal Singh in the desert plains. This fort achieved immortal fame during a fierce siege in 1814 under Sayoji Singh. When the fort's supply of lead was completely exhausted, the local blacksmiths and citizens melted down their personal wealth, firing solid silver cannonballs at the stunned British and Bikaner armies. In stark contrast stands Bhesrodgarh Fort, built directly onto a sheer, rocky peninsula at the wild confluence of the Chambal and Bamni rivers. Because of its absolute water-bound defensive layout and strategic invincibility, it is known historically as the Vellore of Rajasthan. Our journey through the anomalies brings us to Sajjangarh Fort in Udaipur, built by Maharana Sajjan Singh. Perched high on a peak, it was engineered specifically as a functional, monsoon palace, an astronomical center, standing as a brilliant crown jewel overlooking the lakes of Mewar. Then there is Antala Fort in Vallabhnagar, a hill fort that became the historic stage for the legendary Haraval Vanguard competition, a fierce, bloody rivalry between the Chundawat and Shektawat clans to determine who would win the honor of leading the frontline battalion into battle. And finally, we reach the literal end of an era. Mohangarh Fort in Jaisalmer, commissioned by Maharana Jawahar Singh and completed between 1945 and 1946. It holds the profound historical significance of being the absolute last traditional stone fort built anywhere in India. To complete the master compendium of 38, we must recognize the vital lesser-known bastions. 1. Shivana in Barmer, the ancient Kumud Durg that served as the emergency exigency palace for Jalor's Rathore rulers. 2. Madho Rajpura, a strategic plain fort built by Madho Singh I. 3. Chomu Fort, established by Thakur Karna Singh, featuring the elegant Hawa Mandir. And 4. Mandalgarh, founded by Chanana Gurjar, home to the sacred Undeshwar Mahadev. Sharga in Baran, known anciently as Kosh Vardhangarh on the scenic Parwan river bank. 6. Sharga in Dholpur, originating in the Kushan era, which proudly holds the fearsome Hanhakar cannon. 7. Shahbad in Baran, built by Mukutmani Dev Chauhan, which fielded the massive Navalvan cannon. And 8. Nagaur Fort, engineered by Kaimas, featuring an advanced triple rampart defensive design. 9. Kuchaman Fort, proudly celebrated as the Sirmaur, or king of all feudal Jagiri forts. 10. Fatehpur, established by Fateh Khan Kayam Khani in 1453, featuring the unique Telin Ka Mahal. 11. Timangarh, built by Timanpal, famous for the legendary Nand Boji's stepwell. And 12. Dausa Fort, constructed on the slopes of Devgiri Hill, instantly recognizable by its unique, winnowing basket, chajla, shape. Take a look at this matrix. More than just isolated military garrisons, the 38 forts of Rajasthan were fully self-sustaining cities, sacred sanctuaries, and unyielding statements of open defiance. From the water-bound, foundationless walls of Gagrom to the golden, wind-carved bastions of Jaisalmer, these strongholds remain the ultimate historical testament to how human architecture can completely master and conquer the most unforgiving geographies on earth. They are, and will forever remain, India's eternal sentinels of stone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment if you enjoyed this quick revision.